G'day gang, Dan here, how you going? Back in the Elder Scrolls Online. I believe we got to kill Captain Dunveril, because we said we would.
I can't believe this. Injured on my first real mission.
And then I'll be back for you, buddy. I said I was gonna do this, I gotta commit. I'm gonna see this through. Get a little bit of background on it though. The Grand Master of House Dres wants revenge against the Vanguard troops outside Kragenmoor. He's commanded me to slay their leader, and should seek out Captain Dunveril in the Vanguard camp east of Kragenmoor. That is a very strange looking helm, isn't it? Alright, let's keep going. There's the captain. Going around the back, rogue style. Rogue Templar style. Wait a second. As soon as I get... Yeah. That was of the highest finesse. And it's done. Pick a lock. Take some items. I might as well take that too. Okay, now we gotta go back, talk to the Grandmaster. Let them know the job is done. The deed is done. How's it going, everybody? I'll just let you know while we're riding on the way back that the Gates of Oblivion event has begun. Much like the year before, where we played through the Dark Heart of Skyrim. We began that with a DLC, Dungeon DLC, before going to Greymoor, and then another Dungeon DLC, followed by the final DLC, which was another map area. So the Gates of Oblivion has begun with a Dungeon DLC, and you can find the first bits of that on the channel. Flames of Ambition, Grandmaster Omen Dres.
Is it done? Is Captain Dunveril defeated?
Captain Dunveril has been slain?
It is well. You've proven the strength of my great house, and you brought my son home safely. I now name you the Hand of Dres, and offer you my aid, should you need it in the future. To their friends, the Dres are generous.
Okay. Job's done. I'm gonna start walking off. Don't say anything. Don't say anything after I walk out. Oh, let me just have a chat to this guy.
I'm already thinking of what to tell the House Elite at the next party in Mournhold. I'm trying to decide how thrilling to make the tale. You understand, I'm sure.
I do. I guess. Danu?
Your service to House Dres and Kragenmoor will be remembered.
Fantastic. Alright, I'll leave you all be, and we're gonna head out and meet that guy on the road. Actually, he was near a way shrine, wasn't he? He was right next to one. So we'll use this, and we'll meet up with him. Jeez, that was quick. Waiting for the load screen. There he is. Get rid of that. Whoops. Get rid of it again. Gorvin.
I just arrived from Deshaan. Deshaan sent me. Perhaps you've heard of him? He's the consul for the town of Circamora, the Cirque. I'm here to spread the word and warn people about the Lodos Plague.
What's the Lodos Plague?
It is a terrible sickness that is ravaging the Deshaan countryside. Look, I need to send word to my cousin Dandry. You can find her at the Cirque. Can you take this letter to my cousin? I'd appreciate it.
I can deliver your letter.
Thanks for your help. Make sure you tell my cousin that I'm all right. If you head south, you won't be able to miss the Cirque. Tell her I'll return home as soon as I'm able.
Can you tell me anything about this plague?
It's pretty bad. People all over the region are getting sick. And they say that the plague turns the afflicted into monsters. The town consul, Deshaan, sent me to get help and warn other settlements about the plague.
Have you found anyone to help yet?
Well, truth be told, you're the first person, other than the bandits I've run into, and the afflicted heading for the Cirque. There's a lot of them. Word of the curative has spread faster than the plague itself, as far as I can tell.
There's a queue?
That's what the Mulborn claim. They showed up at the Cirque and set up a quarantine. They're offering their curative to anyone who wants it. But Deshaan isn't convinced they're telling us the whole truth.
Okay. Tell me more about the Mulborn.
Deshaan doesn't trust them. Neither does his sister, Arona, as far as I can tell. They do appear to be too good to be true. But they claim to be able to cure anyone afflicted with the plague. That's why they set up the quarantine at the Cirque.
I've never heard of the Mulborn.
Neither had I. Not until they showed up on our doorstep. They seem to be some kind of altruistic society dedicated to helping the afflicted of Morrowind. Now that I think about it, they did have an awful lot of weapons for a group of healers.
Right, well, let's go meet up with these shonky healers. Something's not quite right. Stay on the road. Magma flow overlook. Which will see us through to the next zone. Have we finished with this zone? Yes, we have. Feel like we'd have... Oh no, we have. 1616. There we go. We're ready to move on. In terms of the main storyline quest. Deshaan. The fertile valleys of Deshaan are home to lush fungal forests, deep Kwama mines, and other cool things. Really need a prompt there. Press spacebar to continue so I can actually read all that stuff. Alright. Bit of Mushroom City here. We are... Oh, it's just over here. Come for the cure. Come one, come all. Come to the quarantine in the town of Selkamora, the Cirque, and receive a curative that will protect you from the Lodos plague. Noble or commoner, rich or poor, the curative is provided at no cost to you. Don't risk yourself or your loved ones. The Mulborn are ready to help you. So, whether you are afflicted with a plague or healthy and showing no signs of the disease, the Mulborn curative will make sure you are protected from the dreaded plague. The great houses can't stop this plague. The tribunal has no answers, but the Mulborn have a solution. On this, you have my word. Nostrum breva. Sus. Absolutely.
Who knew that so many afflicted would flock to the Cirque? All these people.
Your cousin
They're
asked...
so sick.
Sorry, your cousin asked me to give you this letter.
A letter? From my cousin? That's wonderful news. I'm glad to hear you made it to Stonefalls safely. Thanks for bringing this to me, friend.
Surely you have more to say to me?
I was so relieved to get that letter from my cousin. Between knowing that he's all right and hearing that the Mulborn have a cure for this plague, I am feeling so much better.
Okay. Bad medicine. So I imagine we're going to town. Let's just get that next storyline quest. Whoops. Open the zone guide. Start the zone story. So we got to proceed down there. Talk to Aerona Barendas. Oh, here she comes.
There you are.
Yeah.
It's about time you got here.
You didn't even know who I am.
Where have you been? I've been waiting for you to arrive for days now. Hold on. Are you all they sent?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maybe you should start at the beginning.
Didn't the tribunal send you? Well, no matter. I'm just glad you're here. This is Circa the Cirque. The Lotus Plague reached us right before the Malborn arrived. They claim they're here to help, but I don't trust them.
What can I do to help?
In all the confusion, I'm embarrassed to admit that I lost track of my brother, Deshaan. He's the town consul. Yesterday he went to check on the townsfolk afflicted by the plague, but he's disappeared. Can you help me find my brother?
I'll help you find your brother.
Someone in town must know what happened to Deshaan. He loves to visit and chat with all of our neighbors. Come on. The sooner we find my brother, the sooner I can start thinking about dealing with the plague.
Okay. Let's find your bro.
By the three, this place smells terrible.
Oh. Billy.
Oh, look at me. I'm a terrible mess. You really must excuse my dreadful appearance. I haven't been feeling very well lately. By the way, you haven't seen Nostrum Breva, have you? She promised to bring me more of the Malborn curative.
I'm afraid not. We're looking for Deshaan. Have you seen him?
Deshaan? The town consul? Such a nice young man. Why, I do recall that he came to see me yesterday. He said he had other townsfolk to check on, but that he would bring me a curative as soon as he could.
What do you know about this Malborn curative?
The curative? Remarkable stuff. Tastes awful, but wipes the plague right out of your system. One of those delightful Malborn gave me one a few days ago. Nostrum Breva, she called herself. But I think I need another dosage.
Can I ask you something else?
I may be ill and bedraggled, but I still have my manners. What would you like to know?
When did the plague first appear in the Cirque?
Oh, I couldn't say for sure. Perhaps the alchemist Nalene would know. I can tell you that I started feeling ill a few days ago after I drank the Malborn curative. She said that would happen. You have to get ill to get better, the Malborn said.
Tell me more about the Malborn.
Such a polite young woman, that Nostrum Breva. Claimed they were here to provide the help the tribunal refused to give. They have a curative for the plague, you know. Vile stuff. But the best medicine always tastes terrible, my mother always said.
To do what is needed, would you stand by while your village or town burned? Then why do you do nothing while Morrowind suffers? The tribunal may be too busy to do the right thing, but we're not. The Malborn, a society of like-minded dark elves who want to help the poor and protect the weak, was formed to take care of the problems that are too mundane, too inconsequential, or too difficult to attract the attention of the tribunal and its agents. We have a plan for the Lotus Plague ravaging our population. We have a plan for the plague husks terrorizing our towns. We have a plan, and that's more than the great houses or the tribunal can say. But we can't accomplish our plans without your help. Join the Malborn and become part of the solution. Our volunteers are already making a difference in such diverse locations as the Cirque, the Obsidian Gorge, and the Narcissus Wilderness. We'd be happy to allow you to help us in our important work. Who are the Malborn? We're your friends and neighbors, your cousins, your sons and daughters. We're the gathering storm and the strong arm of judgment. We're the cleansing wind that will soon blow across the entirety of Morrowind. We are healers and wizards, warriors and caregivers. We are the Moorborn, and we are you. Come, make a difference. Come join the Moorborn. Our recruitment liaisons are anxious to meet you.
Uncle, are you all right? You look so pale. No wonder my brother wouldn't let me come by to visit.
Don't worry about me. I'll be back on my feet in no time. But what about you? Your brother said that neither of you had taken the curative yet.
Uncle, I'm not sure about these Malborn, and their curative sounds too good to be true, but don't worry about me. Just take care of yourself.
I see Arona has conscripted a new soldier into her private army.
I'm trying to help find her brother, Deshaan.
Is Deshaan missing? He was by yesterday for a visit. I know he had other stops to make. He did seem concerned about the Moorborn, though. Sealing themselves in their quarantine, no longer providing the curative. It made him furious.
Is there anything we can do for you?
My niece's visit was more than enough. I feel better already. Besides, I've overcome worse ailments than a queasy stomach and a bad cough. I'll be fine.
Can I ask a few more questions?
A good conversation is like a hot bowl of guar liver soup. It soothes the aches that ail you. What did you want to ask?
Are you really Arona's uncle?
I am a blood kin of House Rederum, if that's what you're asking. More a third cousin twice removed, if you want to be specific. But I've been close to Arona and her family since she and Deshaan were children.
Okay. Alright. Let's keep going. Another townsfolk. Here we go. Bravo, Sil.
My wife's been helping out since she arrived. She's sick, but she still goes out of her way to lend a hand.
Right.
Grell, are you in here?
I feel terrible.
What's wrong with you?
There are torch bugs in my eyes.
Well, I'm here to help you.
The Malborn smell like Daedra.
Think you're onto something?
Brave little scream, do you know how to swim?
She is definitely not doing well. This guy's trying to sleep it off. Oh no.
By the tribunal! Grell! Poor Grell. What in Oblivion's name happened to him? Let's get out of here. The sicker people get, the more incoherent they become, and now it looks like the rumors are true. The Lotus Plague does turn people into monsters. I don't think we're ever going to find my brother.
Maybe we should pay a visit to the Moorborn quarantine?
The quarantine? I guess it makes sense that Deshaan would want to go see what the Malborn are doing in there. And I've yet to see any evidence that the curative works. All right, if you want to go to the quarantine, I'll go with you.
Tell me what you know about the quarantine.
The Malborn set up the quarantine around the old graveyard. In the beginning, they were letting people inside and freely distributing the curative. But they closed the front gate a few days ago and haven't responded to any of our requests.
Any idea on how we can get in there?
Deshaan provided them with the old graveyard key when they first arrived, and I've seen Molborn coming and going through the back gate. If we go to the back gate, I'm sure we can get one of the Molborn to let us inside.
Well, that's what we shall do. Okay, I've got a little path over here.
Of course they will. You'll be fine.
If it doesn't work, you should know I've always...
Don't say it. There's a cure. There has to be. I don't want any more trouble.
So faint.
I came here so my dear Uranar could be cured. But I've been inspired. If they'll have me, I'm going to join the Molborn and make sure others get the help they need.
Don't do it. Don't do it. So there's a back way. This isn't it. Can hear some interesting noises from within.
Look, it's just like I told you. The Molborn are using the back gate. Hey, what are you idiots doing? Do we look like plague husks to you? To the side! Did you see that? They attacked us. And for no good reason. Let's find the key and see what the Molborn are hiding in there.
Yes, but first. And now. The key to the old graveyard gate at Sycamora. In we go. Plague husks everywhere.
Plague husks? Here? Where did they all come from? Are these really all the people that came here looking for help?
Those afflicted with the plague turn into husks, right? Do you recognize anyone?
They barely look like dark elves anymore, and it's hard to tell one plague husk from another. What could the Molborn be doing out here? And for what purpose? And what do you suppose was in all those crates?
What crates?
When the Molborn arrived, they brought dozens of crates and boxes with them. I thought they were supplies for making their curative, but now that we're in here, I don't know what to believe.
Well, let's get to the bottom of it.
Look over there. That's one of the Molborn. One of the husks must have gotten him.
What are they up to in there? And why won't they let me get a look at their curative? Oh, sorry. I didn't see you standing there through the haze of my indignation. Can I help you? No, wait. You can help me.
How can I help you?
I'm the town alchemist, and I want to get a sample of the Molborn curative. They refused to give me any. Proprietary formula, they said. Well, I want to figure out what's in this miracle elixir. I don't trust anything labeled proprietary.
You want me to get you the curative?
Do you always skip ahead in the story? No one has an iota of patience anymore. But yes, I need a few bottles of the curative. I'm sure you'll be able to find some inside the quarantine. Then we'll see what's in this proprietary formula.
Very well. I'll try to get a few bottles of the curative.
Just watch your step in there. I don't trust these Molborn or their good intentions.
That's okay. I got it. I got this covered.
By the 3, this place chills me to the bones. Let's see if we can find my brother and then get out of here.
Don't touch anything, and try not to breathe too deeply. The affliction, it's everywhere. Everywhere!
The affliction?
The plague. It's in the air and the water. It's even on your skin. Crawling, burrowing, getting deep inside. Do you understand? It's not safe. And they're watching us. Always watching.
All right then. Now I feel icky all over.
Okay, I got one of them. The first of the afflicted began arriving almost immediately after the quarantine was set up. I don't know how we spread the word so quickly, but people seem to be coming from all over the region for this promised cure. I now have the opportunity to observe the afflicted through all stages of the low-dose plague. It begins with a mild fever and random bodily aches and pains. Oddly, afflicted suffering this stage of the plague have a terrible hunger that cannot seem to be satisfied. This stage of the plague lasts anywhere from 3 to 7 days. The second stage of the plague is marked by a high fever, overall weakness, and the appearance of open sores upon the body. Pain grips the afflicted, making most normal activities impossible to perform. During this stage of the plague, the afflicted's appetite disappears, and it's a struggle to make them eat and drink sufficient amounts of food and water to maintain their body weight. This stage of the plague can range from 7 to 14 days. If the afflicted doesn't throw off the plague during this period, chances of survival drop to almost zero. The third stage of the plague marks the beginning of the end for the afflicted. The open sores now cover most of the afflicted body, which burns with such heat that the afflicted becomes delirious and subject to hallucinations. The afflicted refuses to eat or drink, and any kind of movement results in agony. This stage of the plague is relatively short, lasting from 1 day, in extreme cases as long as 5 days for those unfortunate enough to hang on. The final stage of the low-dose plague is perhaps the most fascinating. Of course, many of the afflicted simply die when the plague has run its course, but the death is extremely painful and heartbreaking to watch. But an increasing number of afflicted don't find a natural end. These unfortunates transform into seemingly undead creatures that the common folk call plague husks. These creatures appear to be mindless engines of violence, intent on destroying all life they encounter. Can you imagine an army of such creatures? Priceless. Ah, the crates of accelerant have arrived. Now it increase the pace of the affliction. Time to treat my patients. Nostrum breva. You cheeky Malborn.
Flank now! Healer!
There's another one. Another 2 over here. No, just 1. And then a note.
Spread out!
Useless, absolutely useless. The curative isn't going to meet our mistress's demanding standards if it simply kills the person who ingests it. If we were trying to create a new poison, then we'd be wildly successful, but that isn't the task at hand. Reduce the amount of dried corpse blood and try again. And watch that temperature in those cauldrons. One of them was dangerously close to boiling over, and I for one have no desire to be drenched in a spray of boiling curative. Nostrum breva. Curative, got all that. This batch of the curative was so close to perfect, unfortunately it was a tad too effective. The afflicted turned into violet husks far more quickly than we had hoped. For at this point in the process, perhaps this particular mixture will be useful later, when we need a quick influx of undead soldiers, but for now this batch won't suffice. An interesting side effect of this version of the curative concerns the level of aggressiveness demonstrated by the newly created husks. They turn immediately violent and consider everything that moves to be an enemy or food. These husks also demonstrate a total disregard for the husk scent we apply when working in close proximity to them. They attacked our workers as soon as they saw them, indicating that the scent no longer masks us from the husks created with this version of the curative. Let's increase the cooking time by 1 hour and decrease the amount of wolf bile by 25%. Nostrum.
Deshaan, my brother, what happened to you? By the three, I fear the plague consumes you, brother.
Arona, what are you doing here? It's not safe.
The Maulborn attacked us, and the afflicted are turning into plague husks. Oh, Deshaan, this is dreadful.
The Maulborn are spreading the plague. For some reason, they want everyone to become afflicted. They're not healers. They're monsters.
Ah, finally perfection! The latest batch of curatives starts the affliction, progresses the plague at a reasonable rate of speed, and then turns the afflicted into plague husks 70% of the time. Now we have a superior version of the plague and an effective way to dispense it. Of course, handing out curatives can be a slow process, especially in the larger towns and cities. Before we begin operations in Mournhold, we need a faster way to disperse the plague, but that's not my task at the moment. Besides, I'm sure that alchemist Dindril is tackling this problem even as I write these notes. I should also record that I perfected the husk scent. We can once again walk among the husks without fear of being attacked. I might even have an idea about a soap to remove the scent after we're finished. We'll begin making larger batches of the curative immediately. In no time at all, we should be able to give evidence, or give everyone at the cirque and in the immediate vicinity a dosage of the curative. Don't worry, my mistress. Everything will happen just as you have foreseen. Nostrum breva.
The low-dose plague. I have no idea why. But it's clear to me that the Maulborn curative is actually the source of the disease. Whatever they're planning, you have to stop them.
You need a healer.
That's not important. Get my sister out of here and stop the Maulborn. Destroy the so-called curative and put an end to that madwoman Nostrum Breva.
I don't think Arona will leave your side.
Then convince her. I'm too far gone. I don't want to become one of those things and hurt my sister. Besides, she's a Redoran. She has a duty to the Cirque and its people.
No, there's still time to try to help you.
You are as hard-headed and stubborn as my sister. Vivek, damn you. Fine. Do what you must. But if the unthinkable occurs, I expect you to stop me before I hurt anyone.
Deshaan, you swit. We're not leaving without you.
I hope you know what you're doing. I could become a plague husk at any moment.
Okay.
My decision is final. Besides, you're sick, and your judgment can't be trusted. I'll get us out of here while our friend deals with the Maulborn.
Good. Alright, we've got a plan then. Starts by me running into a wall. Alright.
All right, we're done here. Pack everything up. We need to regroup with the other Maulborn cadres and deliver this plague to the rest of Deshaan.
You were lucky last time. How many times do I have to remind you? If you're going to work with the plague husks, you need to wear the husk scent. I know, it smells terrible, but that's the point. It makes you smell just like the plague husks. That's the only way to safely move among the vile creatures. Remember what happened to Kenny? She refused to apply the husk scent too. Complained that it got in her hair and wouldn't come out no matter how many times she washed it. And what did her vanity get her? A plague husk ate her face. Do you want that to happen to you? I certainly don't. Now, get your Nichow together and remember to apply the husk scent. I don't want to have to tell you again. I think I've applied it. Have I applied it? Yeah, I've applied it. So I'm just gonna walk through these guys like it's nothing. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Just eating a dead body, nothing to worry about. Keep moving. Keep moving. And now run!
You can't stop the Maulborn, you fool! We are the cleansing fire that burns across Morrowind! Aid me!
Nostra Brava, you're going down! Fear not the false gods, for their very presence is a lie. Abducted, power ripped from artifacts undeserving, worship received from mindless cattle doing what they are told. You bow to them not out of reverence, not out of respect. You bow to them out of fear, out of unknown truths left untold. But why? Because it is right? Because it is what is expected of you? The people of this land bathe in their filth of corruption and deceit, a filth of their own making. We will give them the cure. All the blind and tainted. We will show them that their gods are not as powerful as they believe. The Maulborn will rise to purify this land in the true image of the princes, to cleanse his soil of all falsehoods. May the three feel our wrath. May the three be cleansed of their lies, for the Maulborn shall bring forth a reckoning. Let's burn it. Burn everything. Burn the research. Nostrum Brother, we continue to experiment with new strains of the plague, and your work at Sycamora has proven invaluable. The Magistrix is quite pleased. The Cirque has been a good testing ground. Weak and sickly individuals who arrive, some already infected with previous strains, beg for a cure. We are... Excuse me.
From the side!
We are more than delighted to welcome them in, giving them false promises of cleansing their illnesses. Even the House of Redoran and Hlalu are convinced we are here to help. They so want to believe. As for the plague itself, it has become quite potent, unfortunately. Survival rates remain shorter than we had hoped. If we want to cause a true outbreak, one that could level an entire city, we must continue to strengthen the magic and test it. The next step will be to raise the level of experimentation. Word has already come that one of our cadres may have developed the purest form of the sickness yet. I'm eager for the arrival of these shipments. A larger town will suffice for the next experiment. I recommend Narcissus. The Hlalu fools will never suspect a thing. I need to get in touch with my contacts there to let them know to be ready. Alchemist Merdindril. Okay. Got 2 quests to hand in.
Were you able to acquire any samples of the Maulborn curative? I'm really curious to see what the elixir is made of.
Here you go, but I'm pretty sure the elixir won't cure anything.
I've been watching the townsfolk who received the curative and came to the same conclusion. but I'll be able to tell for sure after I analyze the elixir. Take this. It isn't much, but I'm sure you didn't have too much trouble in there. Thanks for your help. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some alchemical wizardry to perform.
Yep, you do that wizardry. Let me just make a little bit of space. We'll go hand this other quest in.
Glad to see you managed to make it out of the quarantine too. Does that mean those Mulborn fetchers have been dealt with?
The Mulborn are finished, at least here in Cirque. How's your brother?
Not well. Alchemist Naline fancies herself something of a healer, and she's been working with Deshaan and the other afflicted. Hopefully she'll devise a treatment for them soon.
Is the alchemist making any progress?
Some. She seems confident at least. But what do I know of drafts and elixirs? But tell me, do you think the Mulborn pose a threat to the rest of Deshaan?
I'm not sure. It certainly sounds like their plans included more than just Cirque.
That's what I'm thinking as well. But maybe your efforts were enough to put an end to all that. For now at least, the Cirque is safe. Take this as a thank you for helping us.
I can't believe this. Injured on my first real mission.